It doesn't matter if it's a friendly game, thrashing Manchester United with a 3-0 victory will always feel good. That's what happened in our final preseason game in the USA, as all of Carvalho, Jones and Tsimikas put their names on the scoreboard. But here's the twist. As much as the scoreline is flattering, many believe that the Reds' performance during this game was the worst so far in this tour. Sounds illogical, right? Now, we know that many of you, just like us, stayed up to watch the game, but others, due to the late kickoff time, might have missed it. Well, in either case, you'll want to stick around for this video as we try to analyse the Reds' performance, all while explaining why many feel it was an unconvincing win despite the 3 goals scored. But before we do get into it, please do hit that like button and subscribe button for more Liverpool content. Compared to the first 2 games in this pre-season tour, it's safe to say that Arne Slot changed things up when it comes to his starting 11. Kelleher remained between the posts, while the backline saw one change with Konate taking Sepp Vandenberg's starting place to form the defensive line alongside Jarell Quansah, Connor Bradley and Tsimikas. The midfield also saw another change with Dominik Szoboszlai not being in the squad due to fatigue. Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott kept their places, while Ryan Gravenberch made his first pre-season appearance for the Reds. The attacking line remained unchanged, with all of Mo Salah, Fabio Carvalho and Diogo Jota forming the offensive trio. So far this pre-season, we saw 3 different pivot combinations in all 3 games. Against Betis, it started with Jones and Endo before Ynwa took his chance around the 30-minute mark. In the second game against Arsenal, we started with both Jones and Szoboszlai as our pivot. Against Manchester United, however, Ryan Gravenberch filled the second pivot role alongside Curtis Jones, who appears to be Arne Slot's first choice to play in the double pivot. Another important thing to note is how Konate filled in the left centre-back role, while Jarell Quansah staying on the right-hand side of the defensive partnership. For other players, there's nothing major to note in their roles as they were deployed in the same positions. Now, when it comes to the actual performance, we said that many would believe it wasn't good enough and that the scoreline might be flattering for the Reds. That's mainly due to the fact that Manchester United wasted plenty of opportunities while Slot's men made the most of their chances, scoring 3 goals from 4 big chances created. While many would consider this as a negative, here at Panenka, we believe that this is something that the club supporters should be happy with. We all remember how wasteful our team was last season despite creating many chances and accumulating high XGs. So to take advantage of every single chance we had against United can only be seen as a step into the right direction. But does this mean it was a flawless performance? That would be far from the truth. So let's get into what happened during the game. See, we always talked about how flexible Liverpool has become under Arne Slot. We've seen the team use multiple build-up shapes and different patterns throughout the last 2 games. We went into the full details, especially in our most recent video, discussing Slot's tactics against Arsenal, so make sure you do check that one out. However, the same cannot be said about this game against United, so let us explain why. The Reds mainly used a 4-2-4 build-up shape, and here, contrary to the Arsenal game, Kelleher was not heavily involved in the first phase as both Jarell Quansah and Konate initiated the build-up. This was the theme of the majority of the game, which is why we stated that Liverpool's system was less flexible than the recent games. Still, there was still one common theme that we saw across all 3 games, and that is how the build-up phase was built on baiting the opposition's press. From putting their studs on the ball and taking their time to circulating possession patiently, the Reds were trying to pull United's block before attempting to play through it, but here comes the twist. Instead of playing through United's front 4 with quick, short passes on the ground, we saw more of a Jurgen Klopp side that prioritises going direct with long balls to bypass the press. Now don't get us wrong, this might be Arne Slot experimenting different approaches, however we believed that the opposition was there to be sliced through with a similar approach to that Arsenal game. Many would think that United's pressing made it tough for Liverpool to play through, but here you can see the distance between the opposition's front 4 and their pivots, which would have made it extremely easy to bypass their press with quick and short combinations. Instead, we saw our defenders opt for the long ball, not taking advantage of the space available between United's lines. Now you might think this was due to the double pivots not offering themselves as a passing option into the space, which forced the other players to go long. Well, that's also far from the truth. Both Gravenberch and Jones made 46 touches, which is the 3rd highest in the Liverpool team behind Quansah and Bradley. In fact, the first goal sequence was initially created when Curtis Jones arrived into the space to receive the ball, before combining with Gravenberch on the right-hand side. Of course, the ball was nearly lost and then recycled back to the defence, but this move was what pulled United's block to the right-hand side, creating this space on the left where the ball was later switched to find Diogo Jota, who provided the assist for Carvalho. Now, speaking of the young Portuguese, that was one brilliant goal he scored, sending Casemiro back to Brazil before burying the ball into the bottom corner. There was another brilliant sequence of play that involved the double pivots, which ultimately led to the second goal scored by Jones himself. Here Curtis received the ball from Konate, and under the opposition's pressure, he managed to shift it towards Gravenberch. The Dutchman then progresses the play with a pass that initiated the attack. This sequence right here ended with Ynwa making the save. But seconds later, Quansah stopped a United transition, launched the pass to Salah, who provided the assist for Jones. Yes, it might not be a spectacular performance from the double pivots, due to how less involved they were during the build-up phase. However, to put the blame on both players is just illogical. Gravenberch and Jones were willing to receive the ball under pressure, but it was the defenders who often opted for the direct approach, which can be down to Arne Slot's tactical decision. And now that we're speaking of Gravenberch, we must highlight how confident the player was, especially when Jones came off, as he appeared to be wanting to receive the ball all of the time. And if you're not convinced, let's examine how the third goal was created. You can see how Gravenberch made himself available by dropping to the right centre-back position. He then turned while receiving the ball to break United's line with a pass that initiated the sequence leading up to the third goal. Here, we should be talking about the great synergy both Mohamed Salah and Conor Bradley had during the game. Going back to the sequence leading up to the second goal, the Egyptians slipped the right back to put in a cross that was saved by Ynwa. For the third goal, the same happened as the two players combined with a 1-2 to destroy United's backline before Bradley played the cutback to Jota. This kind of movements, combinations and understanding between certain players is down to the training methods Arne Slot is implementing. If you watch the club's released training footage of last week, you'd see the forward line and fullbacks were having a drill in which the wingers tried to combine with the overlapping fullbacks. This was on full display during the match. So we expressed our dissatisfaction with how the team opted for a more direct approach compared to the other games. Now we'd want to mention something else. We know that the team is capable of patiently building out from the back and keeping the ball around. But what we would like to see more is us sustaining pressure in the final third and keeping the ball around the opposition's half. This was not something that we saw during the game, or any game for that matter so far this pre-season. Against United, the Reds had 18 touches in the penalty area compared to the opposition's 36, 40 final third entries to United's 50, and just 67% successful final third passes. Of course, this might be due to the direct approach the team had, but going into the future, we would love to see us suffocate our opponents in their half, sustaining attacks and limiting transitions with a high defensive line and a good rest defence. So after the third goal was scored, it's safe to say that it was a safe sailing to victory, despite some attempts from Manchester United. The young guns like Ynwa, Doak, Morton and Bishesic deserve a lot of praise for the cameos that they had, showcasing high levels of maturity and physicality. United's Aaron Wan-Bissaka even got injured trying to tackle Harvey Blair, which says a lot about the youngsters' iron chins. Again, beating Manchester United 3-0 will always feel good, whether it's a friendly or not. And what makes it even better is to win with that scoreline despite not shifting into full gear. It's true that we saw a less flexible Liverpool side that is relying on a direct approach, but this, like the other games, won't mean much as Slot is still experimenting with his squad, trying different styles of football. However, what is certain is that the Reds will only get better when all of the players are available and when new additions arrive, if that will be the case. So what do you guys think of the game? Were you impressed with the Reds' performances? Do you think Jones, who started all 3 games in the double pivot, will be a key player for Liverpool this season? Let us know your thoughts down there in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed our analysis, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more Liverpool content. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.